Hey guys, PCOJ here. I I just want to start out by apologizing because I've been lying for the past year and a half. So it all started back around July of 2016, the week before 2.01 came out with the anti-cheat. The first time I used speed hacks. And I have come clean about this one in the past, and it was because on a final click of a level, it wasn't red, and that's where it started. I got 96 on Astronaut 13 hacking, I got 74 on Old Kata hacking. I beat Deadly Clubstep with hacks, and 9 Circles with hacks. I know it's pathetic, but it's just when I talked in the past about the virus that I got on the first laptop I had, the one before I started saying about the music bug, the virus was real and it did happen, and I needed a family friend to take the laptop away, and he needed to factory restore it. He had to basically reboot it, and I got it back, and GD just wasn't playable. With how much lag it was getting, it was not playable. And so when the anti-cheat bypasses came, I took advantage of it, and I started beating levels like Cataclysm, the earliest progress of Sonic Wave I have. I did Bloodbath, I did a bunch of levels, and I passed stuff. I didn't know how to slow down music, so I just made it so that it was blank audio files, and I'd pass it off as a music bug, which we now know is a real thing, but back then it was something I used as a cover-up, and when someone came out about it, it was sort of, oh hey, turns out that it's not just something I've come up with, it's actually a thing that can happen. So that happened, and then towards the end of August, around 23rd of August, my granddad passed away. And it didn't affect me immediately. I was still on GD, I was still hacking. Aurorus originally caught on to me, and I came up with so I tried to fake evidence, and he eventually backed off, and then towards September of 2016, the original laptop, it stopped working. It didn't start up one day, and so I was stuck with being a Kindle player. And just saying now, everything I've done on my Kindle is legitimate. Everything that's through every play, everything recorded on Kindle, anything that I've used the Kindle to record the screen with, all of that's legit. But about 7, 8 months ago, 9 months ago, I was given this computer, same one I'm using now, but I was given this computer and found out it just wasn't capable of running GD smoothly at all. So I got a bypass again, and I just went back to hacking. I hacked a bunch more levels. I hacked Windy Landscape. I hacked Ado. Hacked Bloodbath again. I hacked Cataclysm again. I hacked Blade of Justice. And then after about a month, a Windows update happened. A critical Windows update happened, and I couldn't play the game anymore. So I was stuck to being a Kindle player again. And I did stuff like 51 to 100 of Conical Depression. I've done that 5 times, that's legit. But then it came to around September of 2017, and I got the XPS laptop, the one where I could finally... It was the closest I've come to actually being able to properly game, to feel like I was someone, like, to put into perspective, I could play CSGO at 40 FPS with all settings on low. That's the closest I've ever gotten to a fluid gaming experience, or being able to game with friends and such, and I was still unable to record GD. The game wasn't necessarily laggy, it was just I couldn't record. So I went and hacked again. Sonic Wave 86, that's hacked. Acropolis, that's hacked. Quest for Perfection. Come the start of November of 2017, and the laptop stopped working. It didn't want to turn on. So I was back to being a Kindle player for another 2-3 months. And at the end of November, lost a good family friend, someone I'd gotten to know him quite well over the previous year and a half, and that messed me up a bit. It messed me up for a few days. And then I got this computer, the one I did Blade of Justice and everything on. I got this computer again, and I went back to what I only knew, and that was just speed hacking levels and passing off as legit. So I've done that all the way up to Erebus, and people became suspicious, all the way up to FXD, and all of the I'd use Cheat Engine 2 instances. I'd not only slow down the game, I'd slow down Bandicam as well, because despite slowing down Bandicam, it still plays it as if it wasn't slowed down. When you watch it back, it plays as if it's normal speed. So I did that since I was doing the ever since Cataclysm, and that's how I've done it. I've found out what the start time of a song was, and I'd slow it down in Audacity to that point. And eventually I learned that the fade in, fade out of a song, fade in of menu music when you go out of a level, is 2 seconds, and I eventually found that out, and that's what I did. Someone on Amino a while back, around the time of Blade of Justice, they said it doesn't fade in the video, and they're right. So I never hacked for the attention. I never did it because I wanted to become known as, hey, best 75 hertz player, this, that, and the other. I just wanted the sense of achievement, because I've never had the technology. I've never been able to truly show off what my skills or my potentials are. I've never been able to do that. And with everything happening in my life, with the loss of our family friend's daughter, 5-year-old daughter, to my granddad, to someone I knew at secondary school, to our family friend, I needed something to feel good about. I needed something to alleviate the pain, to make me feel good. Kind of like drugs, but not so much. This was what I did to experience what achievement, what happiness was, what it was like not to feel pain and to be constantly in a war zone that's parents arguing, miscommunications, just living in a reconstituted family, a completely torn up family, and in a world that's fucked up. And I know it's not really an excuse, but it is a motive as to why I did it. And sure, over time, the positive feedback spurred me on to do it more and more. And I am truly, from the bottom of my heart, I am so sorry that I have lied to you, lied to all of you, for the past year and a half. The biggest fear the whole time was the backlash I'd get, was if people I knew as friends wouldn't want to associate with me anymore. And that's just a common autistic trait. And I know that autism isn't an excuse either, but that was one of the reasons I didn't want to come out about all of this. And all of the opinions I've had about levels, saying about levels being easier than others, about just general opinions of levels, all of that's been real. All of the experience I've gained from levels, like, I did a freaking 3-page walkthrough of Bloodbath for when Eric was asking for it. That's just because it was stuff I'd picked up along the way. All of that was real experience, but through illegitimate means. And again, I cannot stress how sorry I am, and I know that there are those who will be happy, who'll be, oh, I told you so. I know there'll be people who will hate me for this. I know there'll be people who will be deeply saddened by this. I know that for some people, I was somewhat of perhaps an inspiration for them, and now they're having to find out that I'm a fraud. When it came to live streaming on the XPS laptop, when it came to the Sonic Wave no clip runs, that was the first time I'd properly been able to showcase my skill to an audience. And it felt good. It felt better than hacking, and every night where I've gone to sleep over the past year and a half, every night I've gone to sleep thinking about GD, what's next, what I've done. I've regretted it. I've deeply regretted it. But I know I've, I kept going deeper and deeper down the rabbit hole. And it terrified me what the consequences would be. I have told friends about this. The list knows at this point that I'm illegitimate. So I've got my 5-month cooldown now. And again, I'm deeply sorry. I mean, the hardest level I can honestly say I've got is Fury Locked, and that was on my Kindle. Just levels from Deadly Clubstep to Creeper Force to both versions of Cataclysm to Bloodbath to ICDX, Serpent Vortex, Blade of Justice, Necropolis, Insidious Depth, Fexty. All of that's hacked. And just looking at the list, it's painful. It's been so long, and I didn't realize how much I'd done. And I was just thinking back, the whole time I was thinking back to Andromeda, to when he came out about the fact that he wasn't legit, the levels that he hacked, but he only did a few. I mean, I've got Deadly Clubstep, Effort, Aftermath by me, Necropolis, Crimson Clutter, Creeper Force, Clubstep Rebirth by me, Poltergeist, Cataclysm, Bloodbath, Astronaut 13, Sonic Wave Challenge by me, Falling Up, Antique Circles, ICDX, Down Bass, Conical Depression, Fairy Dust, Head Rush, Silhouette, Dark Angels, Crying Souls. The list goes on. And every time I've launched a bypass or a cheat engine, I've felt a tinge of guilt at what I was doing, knowing that it wasn't legit. I knew that I was lying. And it was like a drug. I didn't know when to stop. I couldn't stop. And when people were calling me out, both around Auroras and recently, I'm sorry. I know I cannot be completely forgiven. I know it's gonna be hard for people to forgive me. I know people are gonna have a hard time trusting me again. And it's gonna be hard to come back from this. But I promise you now, I I promise that once I have a part-time job, once I have the money, once I have the computer to play and live stream and record, do all of that, I will rebeat as many levels as I can. Levels like Erebus and Blade of Justice. I'm not gonna be able to rebeat those. I'm sorry. And I just hope that everyone who has believed me, everyone who hasn't believed me, everyone who I've lied to, I hope, I pray that they can forgive me for what I've done over the past year and a half. I just pray that they can forgive me. So, until I'm able to do that, I don't know what I'll do. I'm just gonna stick to creating. But, again, I'm sorry that I've lied to you all this whole time. I'm sorry. And I promise, not just to you but to myself, I promise that it won't happen again. So, until all of that happens, just thank you all for just sticking along with me for this entire time. And again, I'm sorry.